Hello, everyone. I'd like to first and foremost thank all of you for your support so far in following the series of videos that I have recorded and shared on Python programming fundamentals. I'm really thankful to everyone for your support so far. We've covered quite a number of topics, starting from what programming is, how do people go about programming, what variables are, what types of data types out there that we have in Python, how do you handle strings or text, how do you handle numbers, how do you handle lists, how do you work around with tuples, with dictionary. We covered conditional statements. We talked about operators. We talked about, loop statement using for and while statement. We talked about functions. We covered quite all of this extensively in about 40 videos. Now we've got to a point where we need to put all of this to use. So I have prepared two code challenges for us. This took me a while before I made up my mind on what the approach should be. I could have followed the generic approach of picking the individual subtopics and asking questions on them. Add a, write a code to add two numbers together to get a third one, or play around with strings in some specific ways. But I felt that would look too basic for us. So we really need something to challenge our minds. And that's why I cooked two supposedly exciting challenges for us. So this is the first challenge. I need you to try developing, a simple program using Python knowledge that you've gathered so far to develop something that is capable of being extended later to work as a fixed asset processor. And whatever you're going to come up with should be able to meet the following requirements. One, it should have the ability to set up asset categories. Maybe you are dealing with furniture, fittings, cars, computer equipment, buildings. There are different classification schemes that exist out there in the accounting world. So you may Google for this and then create those basic asset categories and their approved useful lifetime. You can assume some generic lifetimes. There is nothing, sacrosanct about this. This is just a demo thing. Once your program is able to create these asset categories, then you need to be able to create individual assets and then assign unique asset codes to them based on their category. So if you have created an asset that falls into, say, computers or hardware related asset, there should be a standard code for anything in that category and they should be unique. Same thing with other asset categories. And you should also be able to record the name of the asset. If it has a serial number, you can add it to it. You need to be able to record the date of purchase of the asset and how much it cost you when you purchased it. So these are basic info that we need with respect to each asset. And once we capture these elements for any given asset, we expect your Python code to be able to calculate the depreciation element for each asset. There are logics for doing this, so you need to look this up. So we want a straight line depreciation. And I can give you an example. If you have bought an asset worth $400,000 and the asset is having a useful lifespan of 4 years, it means on annual basis, $100,000 goes away as depreciation. But you are calculating the depreciation on monthly basis, so you need to divide the $100,000 by 12 to get the monthly depreciation. So that's the way you handle the depreciation bit. And then based on the age of the asset, you will be able to calculate the accumulated depreciation for each asset. And then you can go ahead and give us the net book value, which will be the cost less the accumulated depreciation. Accumulated depreciation will be depreciation multiplied by the age of that asset in months. So if an asset has a depreciation of say $10 for sake of illustration, and it has spent 11 months, the accumulated depreciation will be 10 times 11, which will be $110. So if the original cost of the asset is known, you can take the $110 away from it, and what you have left will be the net book value for that specific asset. So we want your code to be able to do this automatically. And based on the purchase date, your code should be able to tell us if that asset is still active or it is fully depreciated. And as such, it should not be calculating the depreciation anymore. And you want a scenario where you run this for like say 10 assets, just for illustration, 10 different assets in different categories. And then you should be able to display a sample fixed asset register in a tabular format on the screen. That is the statement for the challenge 1. You will find this very interesting. It will force you to use all of the techniques you've learned so far. And I am sure this is going to stretch you a bit, but you find it very interesting if you get your hands dirty with this. The second challenge is somewhat similar to this, but it's different. This is a little bit more extensive in its scope. We would like you to develop something that could potentially be used, if extended, to work as an inventory management system for any business, not just fast food business. It could work for any business, more like a prototype kind of. But in this case, we are narrowing it down to a fast food retail outlet. So the features we would like to see in such a code are as follows. 1, you should be able to create different food items that you sell and then indicate what their retail prices would be and their opening stock level, since we are more interested in inventory management. So we want to know how many items are you starting your day with. So give us a list of the items, their retail prices, and then their opening stock levels. Then expectedly, we want people to be able to come in and buy those items based on their, taste. So customer 1 can come and buy a given item, 10 units of it, and that's all. Another customer may come and buy more than one item, different quantity levels, and then they pay for you. So we want flexibility in purchase by customers. Of course, when customers are buying, it's desirable that you should be able to let them know if the item they have expressed desire for is still available. So you should be able to check the current stock level of a given item based on a comparison of the opening stock level and the total quantity of what people have bought so far. So you will know if that item is still in existence or not. If it is not, then they can't buy what you don't have in stock. So your system should be smart enough to notify users on screen that, oh, we've run out of this item, and as such you can't buy it, so they have to pick something else from the available list of products. Then at the end of every customer transaction, you should be able to display to them something like a receipt of what they have bought in the tabular format. And then you repeat this for as many customers as you may have on daily basis. And when you don't have any more customer to deal with, then in step 5, we need you to generate a tabular report showing what you started your day with respect to all of the items, the opening stock, the quantity sold, the amount that you've generated in terms of sales, and then the closing stock. And this is just what we want you to be able to do. This may look technical, but if you think deeply, you can figure out ways of solving all these two challenges using all of the minor techniques that we've learned so far in training. If you give this a shot, I think it will build your confidence in the heart of writing programs. I'm going to develop the solutions. I'll walk you through the tutorials. I'll share the code on this channel, and I equally will put a link to this on GitHub. But you give it a shot first, and let's compare notes at the end of the day. I wish you the very best of luck. I look forward to seeing you in the solution, video, and afterwards we'll go into the intermediate stage in Python programming. Thanks a lot. Have a nice week ahead. Bye.